Phyllis Dawson. I run an eventing facility here in Purcellville, Virginia, and I represented the United States equestrian team at the Olympics in Seoul, Korea in 1988, where I finished 10th, and again in 1997 at the Open European Championships at Burghley, England. So what do you look for when you're choosing an event horse or a prospect to buy? Conformation, movement, jumping ability, temperament, suitability. These are all important factors. Which of these factors are the most important will depend on the level to which a horse is intended to be competed, and the requirements for a novice training schoolmaster would be completely different from the qualities for an advanced prospect. When assessing a horse's conformation, stand back and look at the overall horse as a whole. Are his general proportions good? Do his parts fit appropriately together? Is he well balanced? Is he the type you're looking for? This is a 5-year-old Irish sport horse that's a 7/8 thoroughbred that's a very athletic horse and very much the type that has the potential for the upper levels. Personally, I look for a horse with a medium length back, a powerful and sloping hindquarter, and an uphill balance. Uphill balance doesn't mean that his wither has to be higher than his croup. It's more about how his neck comes out of his shoulder and how he carries himself naturally. Legs should be straight and correct with appropriate bone and good feet. The horse should stand foursquare and straight. There's a common misconception that the more bone a horse has, the sounder he is. But really, a horse with finer bone can be just as sound and strong as long as it's proportionate to his body type. Look for a long forearm and gaskin, short cannons, and medium-length, moderately sloping pasterns. The angle of the pastern and the hoof should match. Look at the horse's head. A pretty face is always nice, but more important is what you might be able to tell about his personality and temperament from his expression. Remember that a well-rounded neck and a good top line are products of muscling and work more than conformation. But for the lower level rider, a quiet temperament and easy control may be much more important, and a different type of horse is often more appropriate. She's got a lovely long hip, medium length back, a straighter shoulder than the other horses. So you would expect from her more upright shoulder that she might not have the same freedom of movement. She's not quite as refined a type, but she's not real heavy. I mean, she's actually quite a nice horse. For movement, ideally we would like to have 3 good gaits. The walk should be long and ground covering with a good overtrack. The trot should show a good natural rhythm, a free swinging shoulder, and the ability to develop a long stride. The canter should be well balanced with a clear 3 beats. The horse should have the ability to easily shorten his canter as well as to lengthen it. Many people put the most emphasis on having a huge trot, but in an event horse, having a great canter is generally more important, as that's the gait we jump from. 7/8 thoroughbred. He's an Irish sport horse, but he's 7/8 thoroughbred, just turning 5 years old, still relatively green. He has the very animated, engaged, up and over movement, different from a daisy cutter. In the hunter world, he'd have much too much knee action, but for eventing and dressage, I actually like a horse with a little elevation of the stride as long as they have the ability to point their toe when they lengthen. He's too green to have learned an extended trot yet, but it's obvious he's got the ability and the potential for it. This is a 6-year-old thoroughbred. He's had a little more schooling than the Irish horse. He's a less extravagant mover. He's a nice mover. He's very correct. He's got 3 good gaits. He's got a nice rhythmic, even trot, a reasonable length of stride, but he's not quite as free in his shoulder as the first horse, and he doesn't have as much natural engagement. At all levels, you want a horse that is a confident jumper with good technique. The horse should rock his balance back onto his hindquarters at the point of takeoff and jump with a well-balanced arc over the fence. Ideally, his knees should be as high as his elbows over the peak of the jump, and his neck and back should round in a good bascule without exaggerating it to the point where he lands out of balance. Obviously, the higher level horse needs a greater degree of boldness and scope than the lower level horse. But at all levels, a good natural jumper is important. The horse should have the athleticism to be able to easily jump fences that are at least one level above his intended use. This gives you a much greater margin for error. Of course, with a green or inexperienced horse with little jumping experience, it's harder to judge the horse's ability or scope when you're trying them. But even small fences or poles in the ground, you can get a good idea of his attitude. Watch the horse's expression when he comes to the fence. If he doesn't basically enjoy jumping, you aren't going to have very much fun trying to event him. One final quality to look for, especially in a horse that you hope to take to the upper levels, is presence. This is that hard to define quality that sets some horses apart. You see it in the look in his eye and the way he carries himself. You can tell that horse knows he is special.